Hello there folks, today we're gonna take a look at the game called Zorro, the dice game. It's published by Pull the Pin Games and the designers are Henk and Clayton Skancke. And in this game you are trying to become a successor to Zorro and fight off the criminals and be the best in this kind of matter. So let's take a look at how the game works. So this is a Yahtzee game, very simple one, where you are trying to defeat those heroic feats, or do those heroic feats, and then defeat the scoundrels, and then when the villain emerges, one of the villains each game, then you will also defeat the villain. So you have your 6 dice over here, and you have your pawn right here. For example, this black pawn over here. So you choose one of those heroic feats you want to do. For example, I want to do this one, and this one shows me what symbols do I need to roll in order to defeat it, or in order to get it. And if I get those symbols, I also get the equipment under this heroic feat, or I can draw a random one if I want to. So how this goes? So you have your standard 3 rolls. I roll dice, I can save some of the dice, and then I can re-roll the other dice up to 3 times basically, yeah? And what I told you, you have to match those symbols. If you won't match those symbols, if you fail, nothing happens. The turn goes to the other player, and then they may attempt to do that, and so on and so on. So if you defeat this, if you do this heroic feat, then you put it in front of you, and later on, if you get another heroic feat of the same color, so for example here it's green, I get another green, and you can see they merge, and thus you take a die from the scoundrel, from the first kind of a villain, from the green, and then you put the die over here, and this activates the scoundrel on top of that. So, and the scoundrel is like a special boss or something like that you want to fight. So the next player in turn order has to start fighting this one, and each player will have 1 attempt, so basically doing their usual 3 rolls, yeah, in order to defeat the scoundrel. And then you can get, instead of usual common equipment, if you defeat the scoundrel, you will get a premium equipment, which are much better. I'm going to show you them in a moment. So basically you do the same, you do 3 rolls, you're trying to match the symbols over here, but there are also some special abilities on those scoundrels that tell you the restrictions that you must match in order to defeat this scoundrel over here. So that's how it goes. And further on, if you also get a third card of the same, a third heroic feat of the same color, you get another die that you can always use now in your roll, so you have an extra die, but you also have to fight the villain. And when the villain comes up, then this is the final step of the game. So everyone will have 1 chance to defeat the villain. There's also a special ability on the villain that you must take a look at, and you must do whatever the instructions are on here on this villain. So, and you can use your previously kept equipment cards as well. So you can see they give you those special symbols. They give you the symbols in order to do the heroic feats, in order to defeat the scoundrels and then the villains as well. So when the villain emerges, everybody will have 1 turn in order to defeat the villain. If you defeat the villain, you stand up. Yeah, you're here. If nobody else defeats the villain, you are the winner of the game. If there are multiple players who defeat the villain, then you must duel each other. Let's say these 2 players have defeated the villain, now they must duel each other. And when they duel each other, they're gonna roll this dice plus an extra dice, and you want to get the most swords. So you do your usual 3 rolls, and you're trying to get the most swords, and whoever has the most swords in a duel will win the game. If you have a tie, then you do another dueling round, and so on and so on and so on, until somebody will emerge in a round with the most swords, and then you will win the game. And that's how the whole game goes. So also, as you can see here, these are the different heroic feats, different numbers, different colors, as you can see. And as you can see, there are 4 colors total, so for each color there's so there's blue, there's yellow, there's red, and there's the green. So you can either collect the green, yellow, blue, or red, whatever, and those equipment cards will help you. As I told you, these are the simple ones, and these are the special premium cards. So if you take a look at them, they have those special abilities, more powerful one, like for example, borrow one hero die from anywhere. Before, the hero dice are the ones that are on those villains and scoundrels, so you have to have at least 2 of the same color of heroic feats in order to get a new die. So for example here, before your first roll, set a die to any value, ignore all scoundrel and villain abilities, you get an extra roll. Up to 2 swords you roll are wild, so they can be considered to be any base value. So these are all those powerful equipments. You can have up to 3 common equipment, you can have only 1 special premium equipment as well that will of course help you in the game. And that's how you play Zorro the Dice Game. So here you have Zorro the Dice Game. Now let's talk about the aesthetics first. So this game has this pull the pin gimmick going on. It's for the marketing purposes. It's different, it's nice, but it's nothing special. So you basically have a sleeve around the box with the magnetic clasp, which I like. I like the magnetic clasps in boxes. So the size of the box is normal. It fits all the components. It's not oversized box, which is a nice thing going on there. It's in the sleeve. The sleeve itself has all the art and information and so on. So yeah, I don't know. It's just there. Now, if we talk about the art and components, I like the art. The art is cartoonish. It pops out. It doesn't feel like something extreme or out of this world. It's nothing like that. But it's lovely. It's colorful. It fits the theme. It fits the game. The very light nature of the game. If we talk about the components, the cards are. That's a fine quality, nothing special, but they don't have borders, which is nice. I do not like borders, and this one doesn't have any borders, so that's a plus for me, you know. So also, the pawns are very simple, cheap pawns, so I would have loved to have like some characterized pawns. I saw that this game was on Kickstarter. So the deluxe version had some kind of the wooden pawns with the stickers on them. That would be cooler to look at, but because this game is very simple and these pawns don't really do anything, this is not like a worker placement game or anything like that. So I'm not too criticizing it too much. So, but still could have been an improvement on this game. But maybe it would add to the cost of the game. So the dice I really like. They're small, but they're engraved dice, and the icons in them are clear. The colors are catchy on those dice. I really like those dice. When I opened the box the first time, like the small unboxing, so I looked at the dice look cool. And this is a dice game, so the dice must look cool. So overall, this is a nice package. Aesthetically, it's a thumbs up for me. Now we go to the gameplay and all related to that. So as I told you, this is an extremely simple game. This is a Yahtzee mechanic. You roll 3 times, you see if you match the symbols, like a Risk Express or something like that, you know, Age of War, and so on. So all of these games, you just try to match the symbols. There's nothing, there's not much meat on the bone itself, but it's extremely fast. I think the more players, the more length it adds to the game, because the thing is that we are not really, we are kind of competing with each other, but we're all individuals doing our own individual thing, collecting those cards, you collect those feats, and then you get to fight the scoundrel. And the thing is that where the game kind of fails for me is that if I get 2 cards, everybody will be able to defeat the scoundrel. If I get 3 cards, everybody will be able to defeat the villain. So it's kind of players have a decision on when to kind of end the game. So, or like kind of have a decision. So they still need to have those cards of the same color. They need to get those symbols on those cards. It's nice that you get those equipment cards that kind of speed up the game, because if you roll badly, at least you have some equipment cards that match those symbols. You can throw them in, and yeah, it will be easier to get those cards. So that's that. The premium equipment, it's also nice when you get the scoundrel. I didn't tell you in the gameplay video I didn't gameplay part. I didn't tell you that if you play with 4 more players, you can call another player for help. So if they help you, they also get an equipment card if they help you defeat defeats or defeat. I mean, like to get defeats. Yeah. So that's that. If you defeat the scoundrel, you have to be on your own. So the gameplay is extremely simple, but it's limited to this kind of linear path of getting those colors, so getting extra dice, but everybody gets to fight everything anyway. So what's the whole point? Probably the whole point is that if I get those 3 cards before the others, I have 2 extra dice, so I get to do probably better in a dueling and in defeating the villain than the others. So, but I don't know. I feel like there could have been something else going on in there. So there would be, if this game wants to be for everybody to be individual, there will be more individuality in this game. And if you want to like kind of do a work together, but only one player wins, then do more boldly, do that more boldly. You know, it's hard to tell anything about this game, anything extra, because this is an extremely simple game. I think that with fewer players it's better because you do it faster, and replayability, it's how it is. It's a very simple game. It's a Yahtzee game. The replayability is fine for that kind of a game because it's a very fast game. Yeah, it's probably like 15 to 20 minutes if you play it fast. Don't really think about that. You just choose a card, roll the dice, see what happens. That's the whole game. So gameplay is neutral for me. Now, if we go to the third, this value, and with the value, I mean, I'm gonna take a look at how much the game costs and if it's worth buying this for that kind of cost, or you should wait for the discount or anything like that. So, the value of this game is $20. I think it was. Maybe it was a little bit cheaper on Kickstarter. While I was on Kickstarter, of course, there are always those discounts and stuff going on there. So I'm not sure about that. But $20. I mean, I'm living in European Union, so everything here is not as cheap, or at least it was before the extra taxes in US. But it's in European Union, the games are more expensive. So $20 seems to be worth it based on the components. I mean, like based on the dice, engraved dice and so on. So the gameplay, it's a $15 gameplay, kind of like that. So let's throw in $5 extra for nice dice and no borders on the cards. So why not? It's a good value. It's a not a very good value, but for that kind of a game, $20 is fine, at least for me in Estonia, in European Union. So you can throw in, you can also pre-order now. It wasn't Kickstarter, so it will deliver at some point, but you can pre-order it now. It's like $30, and you get the expansion, those extra scoundrels and villains and extra pawns, so you can play up to like 8 players and all of that. So it gives you these extra for like $30. Maybe it's even more worth it, $30, because then you have a little bit more replayability. Like right now we have 4, like base box has 4 villains, 4 scoundrels, so there's only like all of them are always in the game. With the expansion, you will get extra equipment, you will get extra few extra feats. That's totally fine. That's nothing really special over there. And you also get the extra villain and scoundrel cards, so you can kind of mix and match them, which is nice. You at least have some variety in them. What I do like is, by the way, going back to gameplay, I do like that the scoundrels and villains, they have those special instructions that you need to follow when you do the Yahtzee mechanism. That's mitigating the usual kind of a boring roll your dice and see what happens thing. It's nice. So, but we go back to value. Base game, $20. You can wait for a small discount. Maybe $15 will be better for you, but $20 also fine. So I give value a thumbs up. So, and overly, this game gets a bronze Würfel medal. It's nothing special. But for a nice little dice game, even if you have a bigger crowd, you can play with bigger crowds as well. It's not that long of a game if you play with more players. It's a filler in between. You don't want to lose your mind, and you don't want to cook your brain with kind of like a brass type game, you know. You want to just relax and roll dice and see what happens, then this is kind of a perfect solution for that. So that's Zorro the Dice game, and we see you in another video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.